And welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Bums podcast. This is brought to you by Love You Hard TV. I am Rob, aka B-Ball Archives, and once again, I got the bums in the house. AJ, James, thanks for joining me this evening. We got some Elite 8 discussion to get to. Some of it really interesting. Some of the Texas Tech stuff, not so interesting. Some gut-wrenching stuff that we saw yesterday. But at the end of the day, we got to talk about it. But we also got to get to some Spurs stuff as well. So if you're here wanting to hear some Spurs conversation, we are going to get to that as well.
For sure.
But let's break down the Elite 8. How are you guys feeling about it? What do you want to get at first?
James, why don't you go ahead and talk? I'm so heartbroken right now. I can't even think straight. It's the only thing I've been thinking about for the past 24 hours is what could have been.
Yeah, I think we need to get to the elephant in the room. It was the most entertaining Elite Eight game, but for all three of us, it was probably the least fun.
Yeah, I mean, it was a game where we saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and we were tantalized by what could have been, what, like you were saying, AJ. And I think that we had visions of us in San Antonio. We were already counting our chickens before they hatched. And in a few minutes left in the game, that's not where you want to be. And we left the door open for a good Florida team, and we honestly shot ourselves in the foot by not capitalizing on free throws, leaving those 2 1-and-1s just open like that, just missing those front ends. It was a situation where we could have capitalized and we did not.
Yeah, well, and not to twist the knife, but it felt a little bit like Game 6 of the 2013 Finals as Spurs fans, because you have Manu and Kawhi missing those free throws, and it gives the Heat a chance to even hit that 3 to tie the game. And it's just like, damn. You make those 2 free throws, those threes don't even hurt you as bad. So,
but we do need to talk about a little play that happened with a potential goaltend or basket interference, if you will. I'm just saying, looked like he was hanging on the rim. So,
yeah, that wasn't my favorite call to go in and overturn that, but I think. I saw a lot of complaining online about the officiating, but to me, the most egregious and really the only bad missed call was the foul subsequent from that basket interference, where they called the 3-shot foul. I forget who they called it on. I think it was Christian Anderson from Tech, either Christian Anderson or Elijah Hawkins.
Right.
In every other level of high-level basketball, that is an offensive foul.
100%. You can't kick your leg.
Right, exactly.
You can't kick your leg out like that. There was no contact initiated by the defense. I'm pretty sure I heard Stan Van Gundy mention something about that on the broadcast. That was the worst call of the game for me.
It was 5-point swing.
Right, and it was equally frustrating because you knew that the officiating crew went back and looked at the replay, saw that, and was like, dang, he kicked out his leg a little bit and initiated that contact, and that was the only contact that was there. And they still went ahead with it because that's the rules. That's how it is.
Yeah.
I'm not sure they have the ability to overturn it from that point, but
no, they don't. They don't.
It's and I'm honestly, I don't watch enough college basketball to know even if that's in the rule book, the leg kick, like it is in the pros. But yeah, as someone who prefers pro basketball, that part of it was especially frustrating.
It's frustrating, too, especially as a Tech fan, because we saw JT Toppin get ejected for doing a very similar move earlier in the season against Houston, which he got ejected for, and Grant McCaslam also got ejected for. So, we've seen a similar move like this, and it led to one thing, and then you're telling us a completely different thing because the time just changed. And that drove me absolutely insane. And, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and blame the refs, but those are some critical calls. That is a 5-point swing, and you look at the score, and that was the difference.
Yeah, and you can't. I saw way too much complaining online from Tech fans about the referees. You cannot blame the refs when you're 7 of 13 from the free throw line, and they out-talented UNC Wilmington, but it was an obvious issue there.
Yeah.
They went 15 of 23 from the line. It turned what could have been a 15-point game into a 10-point game that you had to sweat out a little bit.
Right.
And it just popped up again when it mattered the most.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. It's those free throws. Yeah, we went 7 for 13. Going 53% from the line isn't going to cut it, especially when your opponent is going 25 for 27, shooting 93% from the line, absolutely torching you in key moments of the game. Just really taking advantage of some of those really, really easy opportunities.
Yeah, and Florida is a pretty middle-of-the-pack free throw shooting team. They came into the game 72% as a team, 183rd in the country. So right about middle of the pack there, and they looked automatic all game.
Yep. It was rough, man. It was. I'm also going to blame all my friends who reached out to me during the last 5 minutes of the game saying, "Hey, did you buy your ticket? They're about to skyrocket," or "Hey, man, go Tech, they're watching the game." And I mean, dude, I'm watching the game too. I know what's going on. Shut the hell up. Don't jinx it. And then all of a sudden, a couple threes here and there, and all of a sudden we just. So, I had to cope with a lot of, I guess, trying to figure out who's my real friend and who are the ones I need to cut out of my life. Or I just need to put my
you
phone
got
on
too
silent.
many friends there, Pito. You got too many friends. No,
Yeah.
But I mean, we have to give some credit to Florida. They made the shots when it mattered the most, and there's a couple really interesting pro prospects on that team that stepped up and killed Tech. I think Walter Clayton Jr. obviously is at the top of the list, and then Thomas Houck. I mean, that's not a name that a lot of people were familiar with coming into the tournament, but I think he's made himself a lot of money this weekend.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. Whenever he was defending JT Toppin a lot in the paint, and there was a couple of times where he got a steal and was able to take it all the way on the other end and finish really, really aggressively. So I agree. A lot of people took note of that, but yeah, I don't want to shy away from all the bad stuff we did, even though it was a game that felt like there was just so much that we left on the table.
Right.
And
very techie.
yeah, especially when we look at JT Toppin and the fact that he was 7 for 19 on shots inside of 8 feet. And,
Let's talk about that.
That's just not going to get it done. I know that Florida has a lot of bigs. They have a lot of guys that are 6'10", 6'11", 7 foot that are interchangeable that you can use to throw off a guy that's 6'9". And I understand it from a size perspective, but he got to a lot of his spots and just wasn't hitting his shots. And I don't know if it was nerves or if it was the size that was bothering him, but yeah, he was a part of the issue. If he shoots a little bit better, we're not having this talk.
Right.
They were onto it on the broadcast, and Rob, I think you hit it on the head. It was the size, and I think that really, to me, and you just project forward. That's why I look at JT Toppin as a guy that could really use another year of seasoning at the college level before going pro.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Because just you could tell the size sped him up. He was still getting to his spots. He was still, going through all the motions correctly. But when it came time to execute, it reminded me a little bit, Rob, you'll remember this, of the game y'all played in 2008 against South Oak Cliff in the state semifinals.
Yeah.
What a pool.
It was like the first shot went into the 8th row, and everybody but you kind of was shut down after that.
Oh yeah, because no one else had seen that.
Yeah.
And it reminded me of a bit of that.
Wow. James unlocked a moment in my brain I haven't thought about in a while. Oh my goodness.
Well, yeah. I mean, whenever you go into the paint and there's a 6'11", 7 foot guy that can defend the rim
in high school,
right? In high school, that's crazy. That's a different level of having to be aware of where you are and how you're finishing around the basket, and that's what JT Toppin was dealing with. He was dealing with a guy of that size, and whenever we're thinking about that, it looks like it threw him off just a little bit, because he's a guy that usually finishes 60-70% in that range from that area.
But
and from all angles too.
I think it'd be great to come back. Him and D5, Chris Anderson. Let's run it back one more time. I would love to see that. I would also love to see us go out get some real taller guys, because I think Tech really needs a 6'11", 7 foot big man, because we need that size, especially when it comes down to these games. That size literally matters, and you don't really see that a lot in the pros, but in college it matters a lot.
I would like to see them develop Federico. There's a lot of promise.
Federico.
So nice, you got to say it twice. No,
Yeah.
there's a lot of promise there. At least for a college level player, with the way he defends the paint, the rim, and just cleans the glass on both ends. Like, he's one of the most efficient offensive rebounders I've seen in a long time. But you talk about guys like Thomas Houck that made a lot of money. I think Darian Williams made himself a good amount of money this weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think so as well.
I texted y'all last night. He reminds me, and he's a little bit shorter, but he reminds me of a George Niang type of player, where he's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none, but he's not going to get rushed out there, and he's just he can just bully people.
He's a big dude.
He was posting up people 4 or 5 inches taller than him all game long.
He didn't care. Did not care.
If he got that left shoulder around you and he was able to just get that right hand free, it's done. It's done, because that you're not going to get past the strength of his left shoulder.
Right.
And there's a lot to be said about that, because that strength will translate on the next level if you're moving 6'10", 6'11" guys in college.
So
and he's a good passer and fleet of foot, just enough. I think he's got just enough athleticism. But yeah, from a pro perspective, that was a really interesting game to watch.
I think we'll see what happens this postseason after all the dust settles. I mean, there's over 700, maybe even 800 now transfer portal.
1,000.
Is it 1,000? There's 1,000 people in the transfer portal. Oh yeah, did y'all hear about this too? Indiana doesn't have a team. They literally have every player in the transfer portal, and their coach just left. Like, this is not good for college basketball. And yes, we're going to be focused on San Antonio, but as soon as that buzzer ends, we're going to be talking about this for the most part. And it's nuts.
We're focused on college basketball, and we're focused on San Antonio. So let's not miss the forest through the trees here. We've got a local story. I don't know if you guys noticed these tweets, these local reports from the Express News about UTSA's NIL potential scandal.
Yep.
Yes.
With players not receiving payment, allegedly.
Yeah. It's not good. It's not good for UTSA.
It's not good.
Yeah,
It's
I saw
not
those
good for
screenshots
UTSA.
of those texts.
And as a local,
Yeah.
and I live 10 minutes at most, probably 5 from the UTSA campus. That basketball program saddens me.
Yeah.
Like, you look at the women won the conference this year, and that's great, but like, y'all know where they play. Y'all seen that gym. That's not
graduated in that gym.
I graduated in that gym too. But that is not a Division I college venue.
No.
And you talk about a program that cannot afford a potential scandal or red flag like that.
Yep.
That's one of them.
Well, I mean, like, you think about what Jeff Traylor's been on a soapbox about for the past, how many years, talking about we need more money in our alumni association. We need more donations because we have to pay these players. And if you're going to have
been successful in getting it,
and we have, but I mean, to what extent? Because every time that we have a great player on UTSA, they piece out the next year because they can get way more money. So, that's kind of the issue that UTSA has and is going to have until they fix that problem. The story is not good for the program.
Yeah, the basketball program there, as a local, I want good things for it, but it's got a ways to go before it can catch up to its football cousin.
Right. Yeah.
Sad meeping noises. That'll be an interesting one to watch.
Yeah, I think growing pains is an understatement, to say the least.
Yeah,
but yeah, let's shift gears and get back to some college basketball teams that are playing some meaningful games.
I have a question for you guys.
All right.
Can anyone beat Duke?
I
think that's just the question. Like, can anyone beat Duke?
Honestly, well, after a 20-point win against Alabama, and they're putting up 54 46-86 splits as a team while simultaneously holding them to 35-25-78. That's crazy. It seems like on both ends they're able to just really get it done and hold their team to little points, put up 85 points, and if you do that, you're going to go far in the tournament. I don't see why anybody, I don't see anybody just getting within 10 points of them.
No, not right now. I mean, Auburn would be fun. Like, that would be a fun game to see, but I don't see them beating Duke.
But Janai Broom looked like he's hurt. I mean, it looked like at the end of that game he was hurt. He hyperextended his knee while simultaneously falling on his elbow.
It was gross.
He went out and then he came back. But he was not rebounding. He was not fighting for position. He was literally doing things one-armed and hobbling around. Dude, you need him at 100% if you're going to beat a team like Duke. And if you don't have him, then you're fucked.
Yeah. Well,
that's an unfortunate injury for Auburn.
I don't know if Houston is able to beat Duke, but I can tell you they might win the fight in the parking lot because that team, man, that team is gritty. They're tough. They held Tennessee to 14 or 15 points in the first half. Like, that team is really good defensively, and Sampson, like, he recruits his players with a certain chip on their shoulder, and I think he said something along the lines like, "We don't recruit boys," and it's just like, dude, those are some grown men with multiple kids and a couple baby mamas. Like, it is nuts. But I think if anyone can give Duke trouble, it might be Houston, just because they're so gritty and they're not going to let a Cooper Flag come into their state and punk them the way everyone thinks they're going to be punked. So that's why I think Houston's going to, it might be a blowout, but catch them outside. How about that?
I kind of agree with that. They'll make it a fight. They'll make it a slog. I don't know if they have the talent to pull through and actually beat them.
Right.
Beat Duke, though. We're talking about what, 3-4 potentially first-round picks on that team?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if Houston has the manpower, but like you were saying earlier, AJ, that 15 points that they held Tennessee to, that was the lowest amount in any half in Elite Eight history.
Yeah.
Holding them to 21% shooting. I feel like Houston does have a little bit of a defensive edge right now, and they're playing with a little bit of toughness. I think that's something that Duke hasn't seen. They haven't seen a team that's just wanting to go out there and punch them in the mouth and see how they respond. Houston very much is that team, but also Duke may just out-talent that team. They may just have too many guys that are too big and that are able to hit too many key shots. So I think Kelvin Sampson has this crew moving really, really well, but at the same time, they may be up against an immovable object.
Yeah, I think you see a little bit of both worlds, what we're talking about here, where I think it's close and really physical game for 95% of it, and in the last 5 minutes, I think Duke hits a run and pulls away, wins by 10 or 12.
Yeah,
anything can happen though. Because
you're right.
As someone, and this podcast threw out a bracket, and we have Houston winning, so we need H-Town to hold it down against Duke. But we all are very realistic, and Duke is steamrolling right now.
They are,
but seen
Houston
some crazy finishes.
It has, but Houston is humming right now, and I know that Tennessee didn't really play a great game, but Houston, through the first 30 minutes of that game, they had one turnover. They are actually playing really, really smart basketball right now, limiting their mistakes, and I think that's exactly what you need to do against a team like Duke. It's not going to be about going out there and doing hitting these crazy big shots. It's going to be about not making a dumb pass, not throwing the ball away. And it's going to be little stuff like that.
We're talking about a team that went through the entire Big 12 run and lost one game by 1 point in overtime.
Yep.
Yeah.
This team is legit. This is not a fluke.
And when you look at their scores are like, they're in the 80s, the other teams in the 50s, 60s at most. So they don't give up a lot of points, and it's going to be fun. This is the type of game that it's going to be, all right, is Duke legit or is the Big 12 legit? And it's going to be a battle of the gods, and it's going to be Get your popcorn. I cannot wait. I'm so glad San Antonio gets treated to this game. I just hope the Alamo Dome doesn't run out of food and or ice during this time. So both things have been known to happen.
I'm just
Well,
hoping the Alamo Dome just doesn't squirt on everyone.
Tech's not there, so they won't run out of alcohol.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Could you imagine if they had two Texas teams in the Final Four? How rowdy that San Antonio would be?
You imagine a Tech Houston national championship game in San Antonio?
Good Lord!
Well, and it's funny because
As like a super rubber match, like WrestleMania 17 and 18.
so Tech is 1-2 all time in the Elite Eight, and both of their losses came with trips to a Final Four in San Antonio on the line.
Well, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah.
Unless San Antonio gets their shit together.
We are out, unfortunately.
Yeah, but then we have the two games.
The Project Marvel.
A couple games today. I mean, I like Auburn. They're good. I'm worried about just their health at this point.
Right. I mean, if Janai Broom isn't healthy moving forward, their team is shit because he was a huge part of what they were doing starting out the game. I think he started the game 6 for 7, dominating in the paint, hitting threes, and he was looking like every bit of their best player like he has all season.
17 and 11 in the first half. I mean, just set the tone from the beginning, and that game got close but never really felt like it was in danger.
Right. And it's nice to see that even when he went out of the game, the team didn't crumble. It's not like they lost the lead right away, but you always felt like the team couldn't really walk very firmly by themselves. They were had little Bambi deer legs trying to stumble out there. They hit a couple shots here and there, but they lost a lot of confidence with Broom not on the court. So I don't know if Bruce Pearl, I don't really believe in his squad if Broom's not out there.
I don't really believe in Bruce Pearl, to be quite honest with you. But that's, based on history.
Well, I mean, that's true. But I think that if you have a first-team All-American, there's room for error in your coaching. You can still make a couple of mistakes, and that player can just make a brilliant play and then make up for the fact that you made a dumbass rotation on that last couple minutes.
Yeah.
So I think that there's some room for error, but you don't have Broom, you don't have a chance. You may end up getting cooked by Florida.
Yeah. The last time they played, Florida won that game 90-81 on back in February. So we'll see kind of what the strategy is, because that's a lot of points, man. If Florida can do that, they're definitely going to be seeing someone in the final game.
Yeah. Is this I think I saw the first Final Four since 2008, also in San Antonio, that has all 4 number 1 seeds?
It's kind of spooky stuff. I'm not going to lie. I saw that and I was like, dude, what the hell is it with San Antonio just being chalked? It's the Riverwalk.
River chalk.
Yeah, river chalk. Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm going to be going down there for the games. I probably won't get a ticket or anything, but I'll be down there just trying to check out the scene, trying to figure out what's going on, try to go to a couple bars, have a good time. So if you find yourself down the Riverwalk, let us know. We'll be down there. Or I'll be down there. You guys going down there?
I was we.
Oh, well, I will be down there as well. I've already been talking to Cam about joining me. AJ, you should join me as well.
Well, I have a parking spot, as you know, so
let's make it happen.
So it could be really easy to get in and out, hopefully. So we'll see. But I'm stoked about San Antonio having a little party right now. I mean, I think it's going to come at a good time. I think also come after people see the Alamo Dome and leave the Alamo Dome, they're going to be like, yeah, we should probably put some more money into this thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we've been talking about it a lot on this podcast. Project Marvel is going to attract more and more things like this. And when you talk about, sporting events, things that are generating hundreds of millions of dollars for your local economy, this kind of stuff makes sense. You want things like this in your city, so we need the infrastructure for it. Project Marvel, it it only makes sense.
But what about those assholes on Twitter that say none of my tax dollars are going towards a billionaire's vanity
You mean the
project?
ones that are renting? Yeah, cool.
I think about that episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia whenever they go to a mental institution and it's shut down and they're like, what's happening? All my tax dollars are going towards this. And they're like, well, we just opened up a new training facility for the Eagles. And they're like, oh, well, go Birds. And so it's, I'm kind of wanting everyone in San Antonio just to say, well, go Spurs, go, and just
Well, also, let me echo that specific sentiment. Go Birds! But that's neither here nor there.
Well, James,
I'm going
it was
to cut
great. It was
that
great
out.
seeing you, man. Well, I think it's gonna be fun. I hope that Houston pulls it out. But looking back on this tournament, it's been kind of so. I would say if I gave it like a letter grade, I'd probably give it like a B, maybe a B minus, pending how this next round goes. I mean, we've only had like a couple of really close, fingernail biting games. We haven't really had any kind of like craziness, have we?
I think we're skewed in our judgment because honestly, those crazy fingernail biting games involve tech.
Right. Well,
Right. And then there was that Maryland Colorado State game as well.
Yeah.
That was a great game.
That was a great game, but you're right. Mostly it's been Texas Tech games, so we are a
Box
little
office.
bit biased. Yeah,
We are box office is what we are. And if you want to
That's
come make a statement, come to Tech. We definitely have the facilities. That Womble was insane, and that's what is definitely the difference in some of these recruits.
yeah. Texas Tech, like you were saying on a previous episode, AJ, like we're definitely a basketball school now, and it's really nice just to see us be consistent in where we go in the tournament and how seriously we're taking amongst schools that have been there for decades. And so
Yeah.
it feels like we're in that echelon now.
I think Grant gets Tech. I think Grant gets Tech a championship. I think it's going to happen. My guess is sometime 2028, 2029, but I think it happens.
It's so hard to say because the tournament's such a crapshoot, but I think they got the right guy at the right time, and I think they've got a lot of momentum to build off of, and I think it's been proven that the old cliche of you can't win in Lubbock, Texas is just not true anymore. We've seen multiple people do it at a very high level, so I mean, as a fan, sky's the limit.
Yeah, we might become the school of note in Texas.
I've got
Controversial
Houston to
statement.
deal with, though.
Yeah, that's very true. So guys, let's just take a little glance into next weekend. So we've got Auburn, Florida. I know that originally in our original Baseline Bums bracket, we had Auburn beating Texas Tech at this point. Are we still feeling like Auburn is healthy enough, is strong enough to beat Florida?
Health is the biggest thing, I don't know.
Yeah. To
If
me,
they
that's
are,
up in
if
the
they
air.
are, give me Auburn. I mean, we'll kind of see what happens, but I think Broom plays, so we'll see. But I think I'm gonna stick with it. Give me Auburn. Give me Auburn. Still. Florida seems to have some issues, and we came out early, and if they get hit in the mouth early, and a team like Auburn can close them out, I mean that's gonna be Auburn in the championship.
It's hard to go against Florida right now. I don't know if I'm ready to make a pick. I think I got to wait a little while to see these reports on Broom.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, because he's so much a part of what they're trying to do. And yeah, so right now I think I'm leaning towards Florida. Just seeing how they're able to just kind of grit and play a close game, and even though some of their games have been closer than a lot of people were originally anticipating, I still feel like them being able to close out a close game, I think that says a lot about their character and their willpower and how well they're coached as well. We're all feeling the same way. If Auburn's healthy, they got a shot, but Florida could be could be could be playing well enough to make it
Yeah.
into that final game. Yeah. So
Yep.
It's
yeah.
just with
So
you can literally never count a team like Florida out, with the way they can just get hot, the way they perform in the clutch.
Yeah.
yeah, you're not wrong.
Stupid ass Gators.
They
Uh,
got both of their lick back over the past couple of years. There's a fun little non-football sports rivalry there with baseball and basketball. Tech and
fair.
Florida over the past decade have eliminated each other from the tournament in both sports.
There you go. Little fun nugget right there. We've got moving on into the other side of the bracket. We've got Duke Houston. Are we still feeling like Houston is our choice to win it all after seeing what we've seen from Duke?
I have a question. Is Ted Cruz going to be in attendance?
Oh God!
If Ted Cruz
hope
is in
not.
attendance, Duke's running away with this, and it's not even close. If he's not there, I think Houston wins.
I would bet on Ted Cruz being there just because he's the worst.
Right. He's human trash. So if he was there, yeah, I would say yeah. Honestly, I think that we may have overstepped in thinking that Houston can touch Duke this year. I think that Duke is going to win by probably 8, 9, 10 points, something like that. I don't think it's going to be a 20-point blowout like they just handed to Alabama. I don't think it's going to be anything like that, but I think that Houston's just not going to have enough manpower. And, I know earlier we were talking about their physicality and they love to just go out there and punch teams in the mouth, but I think that, Duke's going to respond to that with, well, you know what? We've got multiple guys, multiple lottery picks, first round guys that we can go through, lob threats, good shooters, good free throw shooters. If you foul us, what don't they have?
Yeah,
Heart.
they're a complete team playing their best basketball at the right time. So
Yep,
Right.
they really are.
And I think we gotta talk about Coach Shire. Like I think whenever you talk about a guy that is taking over after Coach K, like
That is
you
a
are
tough job.
right, like those are massive shoes to fill. Those are Greg Popovich size shoes to fill. So when we're talking about, being the guy after the guy, he's stepped up and will potentially surpass him in wins over the first 3 seasons. So he could step in and actually be doing better than Coach K was at his start of his career, which is wild to
Yeah.
think.
yeah, yeah.
It helps when you have a
Coach
whole
K
bunch
left
of
him.
it helps when you have a whole bunch of NBA players donating to your NIL.
Yeah, and Coach K left him a good situation to go out on. The last year that he was there, they went to the Final Four. So
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
And
But
then
I
what
also
happened?
think that I also I also think that
I don't know. I don't remember what did happen.
you need I also think that you need to be able to have that kind of personality to wrangle in to wrangle in that NBA level talent in that college space, because he can literally just be like, hey, yeah, I've been here before. I've played in this system, and I put up good numbers. And some of his players, I was reading a couple articles about them not really believing he was a good player back in the day, and he was like, no, I would bust your ass. This is why I expect this of you. And
Yeah.
I think that he's going to be really successful there for a number of years.
Won a title as a player there
Yep.
back in
Oh,
2010.
It's kind of like when you see these a lot of these juniors right now coming in the NBA and being superstars, and their parents or their dads were just really good role players, and you heard of them. They might be a little journeyman, but I think of some of these guys that have kids who are just superstars, and because you know what it takes to get there.
Yeah, but that shit's making me feel old now. Now it's getting extreme. You got like Jace Richardson out there. You got like Carmelo Anthony's kids are going to college, and it's just like, man,
It's like, I remember when Carmelo Anthony was in
I don't like
college.
that. I don't exactly. I don't like that.
Right. We are old. Yeah. I think a lot of our takes would put us in the old head category already. And you know what? I'm here for it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I'm fully embracing my old head status at this point.
Dye my beard and give me a cane.
Yeah, for sure. Uh, so you guys, yeah, so that brings us to I mean, I think we're saying if Auburn's healthy, they make the final, but if they're not healthy, Florida is. So are we saying Duke wins no matter what, no matter who they face?
It just seems like
I think I'm leaning that way.
the spotlights are not too bright for Duke right now. They seem to play
Yeah.
better under the spotlight. I mean, I think if you see kind of how they're playing right now, they're making it look so easy, almost effortless. They jump out early. They don't look back. They're stealing the ball, dunking, fast breaks. Cooper Flag is getting hit in the face and still finishing. I mean, they, yeah, they look like they're gonna just kind of moonwalk into the finals.
Yeah. And it really just seems like, what we saw from them against Alabama, they held Sears to 2 of 12 from the field and forced him to cough the ball up 5 times. That's really keying in on their elite guard. That's something they can do to Walter Clayton Jr. That's something that they can do to Cryer.
Yep.
That's something that they can do to a lot of other teams that I'm honestly wondering how any team's even going to come within 10 points of this Duke squad. So I'm thinking just based on what we've seen so far, looks like they're going to win it.
Yeah, I think they've earned that respect to this point in the tournament.
Absolutely. Yeah. Very much so. So yeah, our Houston pick may not hold up, but you know what? It's holding up right now.
It sure is, and anything can happen. And regardless, the Spurs will probably end up one of these Duke players. So, we got to kind of check in there for a second. But we're getting our
the final four.
Say it again.
Did we get 3 of the final 4 right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because we picked the 3-1 seeds. Yep. That's absolutely true. But yeah, that wraps up some good bracket breakdown, and yeah, we're gonna see how everything shakes out in San Antonio next weekend, and that'll be really fun to see. But yeah, let's move on to some Spurs chat. Just looking over at the play-by-play right now, we are currently losing by 34 to the Warriors. We are getting we're getting our cheeks clapped currently.
They're
Yeah,
like,
it was
you guys wanted to play in the Alamo Dome? Come on, man. Like, we're still mad about that.
yeah. This was
Tank
yeah.
Commander Central.
Yeah, so it's
Spurs might end up with one of these Duke players.
exactly. We are firmly cemented towards the bottom of the Western Conference. Yeah, haven't been playing very good basketball. Lost to the Pistons, lost to the Cavs, lost to the Celtics, and then as it looks right now, we are going to lose to the Warriors. And pretty much the only silver lining is how Stephon Castle's been playing. I know we've been saying it time and time again. He scored 19 against Detroit, 22 against the Cavs, 22 against the Celtics, and it just seems like things are clicking for this guy, and he is our best player right now.
Yeah.
And there's been some other positives. Jeremy Sohan's looked pretty good. Devin Vassell's broken out of his slump. Although, it's just like I want to see it. I want to see it in important games. I want to see it when we're trying to win games. You know? Don't just give me empty stats because someone has to go out there and give me empty stats. And I'm specifically more talking about Vassell.
Right.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And the Hawks right now are sitting in 8th, so I don't know if that we can really count on that draft pick anymore. So we are who we are, I guess, as Keshe would say. So
this class has some depth to it. So I think you'll still be able to get a viable piece with maybe the Hawks pick at 15, 16 in that area.
Yeah, we could end up with another Kawhi type of situation where we get a gem in the middle of the first round, and it's something we're not fully anticipating, but some guy that we can develop into a really special piece. Who knows?
I think this will be once we get through the season, a fun draft that we can really kind of get our hands dirty with and really kind of break down some of these scouting reports, because like I said, I think both in college and internationally there's a lot of fun prospects there.
Yep. And
Absolutely.
and we never know who we could potentially trade for and or sign as well.
Yes.
So I don't know if
As
you guys been on the internet lately, but there are some fun reports.
Far too much.
Yeah,
Far
far
too
too much as
much.
well. Yeah, I've seen some really crazy stuff lately. I'll tell you about that later. But the internet right now is telling me that Kevin Durant might be packing his bags and going to San Antonio to make a trio, a big three, if you will, with Wimby and De'Aaron Fox and Kevin Durant. Rob, is that something that we should even consider?
Personally, I wouldn't want to consider that, even though when you do the math, if we were to, throw in Vassell, we were to throw in Keldon Johnson, and we threw in like the right picks to acquire a guy like KD, it could work on paper. We could realistically make those contracts line up and make it right from a value standpoint. I just don't know how that's going to work for our development. We have too many guys, whether it's Castle, whether it's Sohan, whether it's Wemby, whether it's De'Aaron Fox. Like, I
Yeah,
still think that he has some veteran qualities that he needs to develop as well. If he's going to really be the big bro on a team, I think
right.
that he needs to kind of, develop some of these veteran qualities as well. So I think our guys have too much to left to do, too much left in the growth tank for me to want to bring in a 36, 37-year old Kevin Durant and really just shift the entire language and shift the entire focus of what we're trying to do.
Yeah, it's a bit reminiscent. Now, obviously, Kevin Durant is a far better player than Pau Gasol, but it's a bit reminiscent of that. It's like, damn, this would have been really cool 4 years ago. Rob, I tend to agree with you that I just don't think the timing is right. I don't think the value exchange is right for what you're looking for. I think you can go get a guy. You, as a fan, I'd rather put all my eggs in the Naz Reid basket than the Kevin Durant basket. And I know that sounds crazy, but if you're really trying to build a team that you know probably isn't winning a title next year anyways, why pull that trigger?
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that kind of
that's
goes
very
to
much a win now thing. Yeah.
yeah, that also kind of goes to also what we've been talking about. Who's going to be the next coach? And that could be a lot for any kind of coach. I mean, if Mitch Johnson's the guy, then he's the guy. But if you were to add a personality like Kevin Durant next to a Wimby, next to a De'Aaron Fox, next to whoever, I mean, that's really hard to juggle and manage, especially if you don't have that kind of experience. So knowing who our coach is going to really determine kind of what moves we make. And I think we need to do that like ASAP. I would say even during the playoffs or something, try to get an idea of who's going to do what. If they can do it in the damn NCAA tournament, we can do it in the NBA, right?
Yeah,
Right.
that
Yeah,
question.
we'll really need to figure out what kind of Taylor Jenkins we're going to bring
Yeah, I
into
was
our
gonna say
team.
that
I mean,
question got a whole lot more intriguing this week.
Yeah.
yeah.
What do you think happened? I mean, like it seems very odd. Now, let's put our tinfoil hats on for just a second. It seems very odd that you're fourth in the West right now, and you're gonna make the playoffs. Your team's kind of going up and down at the best, but like your best player was complaining not getting the ball. So you get him the ball, it doesn't matter what happens. We're 8-9 games left with the season, and you fire the head coach before the playoffs. Like, isn't that a move that you make after the season? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me, and it makes me feel that there's more to this iceberg than just they didn't like each other.
Yeah. Also, Ja Morant complaining about not getting the ball enough. I mean, dude, you're the point guard. Like what?
Right. Well, I mean, just reading some articles about it, they had fired their assistant coaching staff months ago, and Taylor Jenkins was having an entire new assistant staff brought in, and reportedly he didn't really like how everything went down, and was talking with ownership about it, and was really just kind of open about it, and And whenever that is your relationship with ownership, I feel like there's gonna be a little bit of a downfall, and just from people that are following the Grizzlies and what I've been hearing, it just seemed like this was kind of this was foreseen. People were seeing this, weeks ago happening, and I didn't really know it.
Yeah, no, it sounds a little reminiscent of Michael Malone in Sacramento. It's just like the players loved him for the most part. Maybe, there's a malcontent here or there, but like the issues go beyond the player coach thing.
Yeah.
Yep. So, I mean, I wouldn't hate him putting on the silver and black too and coming over here for a few years.
He's
So,
familiar. He's familiar with the system at least a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he's been in the San Antonio environment. He knows Coach Pop. I mean, that wouldn't be a stretch, but at the same time, he has more experience for the Austin Spurs than he does with the San Antonio Spurs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I
true.
I I would love to see us go after somebody that may have, a little bit more of I don't know. I want to hire somebody on a little bit more of an upswing, not after they've just been fired for not being a good fit.
right before they go to the playoffs, 100%.
Right.
And
Yeah.
real quick, but the Austin Spurs, I don't know if you guys seen this, but they had a cool jersey night the other night, and it was Dragon Ball Z. So the uniform was like orange, and they had like the Japanese letters on there. It was a dope jersey. I'm just gonna say that it's been fun to see the Austin Spurs kind of do the minor league team stuff and make it fun for all the logos and jerseys and stuff. Just I wish they had them in their fan shop. I would buy one in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Yeah, dude. I would. Yeah, they need to make those more accessible. They would be making bank.
They had those elf ones. Remember those elf jerseys they had for a little bit? Those were crispy. I want damn. They got some good stuff. So I'm glad they're bringing out the minor league in it, and it looks like a fun time. So shout out to the Austin Spurs on their okay season. I guess I have no idea what they did this year.
Right. I couldn't tell you one thing. But yeah, all I know is those games at the Cedar Park HEB Center are really, really fun. Like
Yeah.
you walk in from outside, and you walk in, and you're like right on the court side, and it's a really, really fun experience. And yeah, I highly recommend anyone go to those games because it's just fun atmosphere. It's really fun. I worked as a camera operator for a while,
Nice.
doing sideline stuff and would do a lot of the aerial cam stuff in that HEB center. And yeah, we definitely put on a good show.
Hell yeah.
No,
Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's kind of the dog days of basketball right now, but I mean, I guess we have stories like Stephen A. versus LeBron James to keep us intrigued, and their angry storyline, if you will. That shit pisses me off because all they're doing is trying to get eyeballs before the playoffs, man. Stephen A. Smith is going to cover the games, and it's going to be that the entire time. They're going to be like, well, is this personal or is this you talking ball right now? I mean, dude, it's ridiculous. And the fact that he went on Pat McAfee's show and it's so stupid. Like, what are we doing, guys? We're adults here.
Right. He shouldn't have questioned LeBron's father, like LeBron being a father. He should have never brought that into question. And
Yeah, but we all seen Space Jam 2. He was kind of a shitty dad in that one.
right, you can question movie dad. I'm not,
Yeah.
not questioning. I'm not questioning his fatherhood behind the lens, but at the same time, yeah, I think Stephen A. went from covering the sport to kind of criticizing the person a little bit too critically, and then he was called out in public, and then kind of shrank a little bit. I don't know.
And then said, "I'm
For me,
if you would have put hands, I would have thrown hands with them." And
Yeah,
I mean, dude, it's WWE. They're trying to get clicks. We all
Yeah.
can see right through it. We've seen it
Right.
too many times.
I was about to say, I think Stephen A. is taking the road to WrestleMania a little too seriously with some of his antics, and quite honestly, it's just it's a crash out at this point. Like with the way he's talking about LeBron on his platforms, it's just kind of pathetic. And honestly, that was going to be my dunk because
Oh, my bad. Well, since we're there, James, go ahead. Which we're done.
yeah, let's just go right into dunks.
I just think it's fucking ridiculous that you have Stephen A. Smith out here saying that he would have put hands on LeBron if LeBron would like. What are you talking about? This man is 6 inches taller and 80 pounds heavier than you.
Oh my God.
Like, I do on some level like the LeBron pettiness of going on Stephen A's perceived rivals show for that interview. That was a nice touch, I think, on LeBron's part, even though I find Pat McAfee a bit insufferable outside of his WWE gig.
Yeah.
And so, but no, I just think Stephen A is going now out of his way. I don't know whether it's an intentional PR hit for whatever weird criticism or whatever weird bullet he wants to take from Michael Jordan, but it's just a really weird vendetta that it's evolved into. And Stephen A has long since gone carnival barker, and we all know that, but this is on a whole different level.
Yeah.
And it's just too much. So yeah, Stephen A. Smith is my dunk, more so than LeBron, because I think LeBron is actually in the right here for the most part. And so actually though, LeBron going at Brian Windhorst though, that wasn't cool. But other than that,
I'm not your friend.
But to be honest, if somebody is in the media claiming to be my friend and they truly aren't, I probably would call them out too. But at the same time, I agree with you. In the way he did it seemed a little bit over the top.
yeah, and honestly, I don't think Brian Windhorst has ever claimed to be LeBron's friend. And yeah, that one just felt a bit weird to me in this whole thing.
Right.
But, yeah.
But in war, people are gonna catch strays, and I feel like he caught a stray right there.
He absolutely did.
AJ,
Yeah.
who are you dunking on after Stephen A?
Well, I don't really want to get political on the show,
Do
and
it.
I'm not gonna say anything crazy, but
it.
I'm gonna dunk on Michael Waltz, dude. You added the guy to your group chat. It's okay. Just say I messed up. My bad. I shouldn't have done that. I'll be more careful in the future. Move on. Like, you did it. We all know you did it. Don't say that I don't. His number magically appeared in my phone from the phone fairy. I mean, dude, it's we can all see through it. Just admit to your mistake and move on. Like, we don't have to be sitting here talking about our attack. If we're going to split hairs with war plans and attack plans, what are we doing as a society? I mean, let's be real. So I'm going to dunk on him for just, hey man, own up to your shit. Don't be a dumbass and just move forward. Like, let's move on. This is ridiculous. Like, the fact that we're even having this conversation of him adding a journalist and also using Signal. I mean, don't get me started, but it's lazy. It's stupid. And I hope he just comes out and says, yeah, man, I screwed up. My bad. That's it.
I hope he just comes out. No, this whole thing would be a lot more funny if it wasn't so terrifying and sad.
Right. If the implications weren't so real.
Yeah. So let's be cooler, guys. Let's be cooler.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a worthy dunk. That's very much a worthy dunk.
Rob, what you got today?
I'm gonna dunk on the French national basketball coach, Frederic Fadot.
This is a good dunk.
Yeah. Why the fuck do you think Wemby should be playing in Eurobasket tournaments this summer shortly after surgery?
Yep.
Why are you pushing for him to do that? I think that this is completely stupid. It's not even the Olympics. Eurobasket literally fucking means nothing. I've played in multiple Eurobasket tournaments that funnel players in the United States to go play overseas. A lot of these players, a lot of these games are really competitive, don't get me wrong, but they mean fucking nothing. So why are we trying to gear him up to play these games in this summer that aren't going to mean anything just months after he's having really, really serious surgery?
Great dunk.
Yeah, go fucking get dunked on, because he's pushing it, and he was the one that announced it. And it's like, oh, Wemby's going to be ready for this. No, he should be thinking about the fall. He should be thinking about where we're going to be as a Spurs team come, September, October, November. I don't want to hear about basketball for Wemby in the summer.
No.
Yeah, he doesn't get paid for that. Like this is almost literally a matter of life and death. So for him to come out and say that,
Yeah, the Spurs would definitely step in and put a kibosh to that. Be like, hey man,
I hope so.
like we enjoy your baguettes and your croissants, but you need to not take Wimby because we need to keep him here because he likes tacos and tortas.
Right. Excuse me, Frederic? Frederic? Yeah, no, you're hold up right there. Yeah.
Well,
But yeah, we need to
great
keep
dunk.
Wemby healthy.
guys, those are some good dunks, man. I'm not gonna lie. I think we kind of hit it pretty hard.
Yeah, we dunked and we did not do it shyly. We Sean Kemp style dunked those dunks. And everyone,
I give
if
it a
you are
10.
still 10. That's a Billy Bob 10. A fucking 10. And if you are still here listening after all those wonderful dunks, we appreciate you. We absolutely love the engagement. We love the fact that you are here and you make this community. You make the Baseline Bums community work. We appreciate all the likes, the comments, the shares, the engagement. This podcast would not be the same without you. So the fact that you're here means absolutely everything to us. And really just makes all of this work. So, we got a bunch of fun stuff lined up for the future.
Come down to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Even if you don't have a ticket, just come
Let's
down.
jump
Let's
in the
hang out.
Riverwalk together.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Let's go drinking at Dirty Nelly's. Let's go hit up a couple bars. Let's do the Pat O'Brien's thing. Let's do the damn thing in San Antonio, and then
We'll swim with the dolphins in the river.
Swim dolphins with the river, Dad. We're all for it. So come down, see us, come hang out. I know Mike and Rudy are going to be there, but we're going to be partying. So that's our job. We might have a camera. We might ask you some questions.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm going to have my camera out there. We're going to have a microphone. We may put it in front of your face. Give us a hot take if you see the Baseline Bums. Got a bunch of fun stuff lined up. Also, shout out to B-Ball Archives and my website. We're going to be doing a lot of really sick giveaways. I have a one-of-one Ja Morant right here, and we're going to be giving it away over the next month or two. We're going to be doing a lot of other giveaways where you can win a lot of stuff, like a lot of various Wembanyama rookie cards, a lot of really cool stuff like that. But the one-of-one Ja Morant we will be giving away sometime this summer. But you need to be following, and we're going to put all of our followers into a raffle and see who wins. But yeah,
there might be some more prizes too.
Absolutely. That's a huge card. It doesn't even have a market for it yet because it's literally a one-of-one. So absolutely. Yeah, a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, guys, that feels like a great episode. That was fantastic. And I think we should end this episode the same way we end all the episodes, and that's with a go, a Spurs, a go. We're losing by 35.